BAP the Avenger, the Predator, the monster of the Americas. Speaking of America, look, speaking of America, no one dies owing us anything. 4 will be more. BAP wants to turn Flamengo into the monster of the Americas. He already transformed that council meeting last night. I'm bringing you this coverage early because of that council meeting last night. In the state of the new scenario, with the alien here, because Flamengo is the monster of the Americas. From now on, the monster of the Americas is here, the true alien of the Americas. Flamengo must compete in the Interplanetary Championship. Man, look, I'm going to show up like that. If you follow us but aren't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Your support really helps our work. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, leave that awesome like on the video, and man, always share our video. Our sponsors will be in the pinned comment, but I want to remind you to subscribe to Flamengo Television as well. Credit here to Flamengo Television. We're going to be reacting here to content from Flamengo Television, from Luis Eduardo Baptista, BAP. We're going to talk about it here as well. Taty Castellanos, because it became clear that Flamengo is going to be scary in the market. Let's go. So here we have Flamengo, even saying that they won't let any club spend more than them in the market. Man, it's crazy. We're talking billions for signings and stuff. Flamengo will definitely have a lot of surprises for the fans. In the next few days, at the beginning of January, Christmas is going to be packed. It's going to arrive a little late. The delivery from the shipping company was delayed a bit. Santa Claus's gifts are running late, but they'll get here. Look, if it weren't for the plane, guys, let's talk about the plane. Here too, let's start by talking about the plane. Look here.
Guys, they're also evaluating the following. I don't know if it's here. I think all of you saw that Aeroflot, the plane from the company called Citarol, that took off with Flamengo's crest. We buy, on average, 29 charter flights per year. We do 29 charter flights per year, and we negotiate each flight individually. What we're thinking of doing is bringing in an aircraft, styling it with Flamengo's theme, and securing a 3-year contract. Make an aircraft with 90 seats with adequate comfort for the members, and we guarantee that we will use this aircraft. It will make between 27 and 32 trips per year, one way or another. And because you're making this agreement for 3 years, you could style the aircraft as well. Our idea is to get one of these aircraft, sell the sponsorship. Our idea is to get it, turn the Aeroflot or Flamengo's logistics into a potential product for sale for some sponsor who wants to sponsor the Red Black logistics. So this is a project that we will probably get off the ground over the course of 25 years.
Over the course of 26. Look, Flamengo is going to make money with Aeroflava and will even have a plane. It will pay for itself. And it won't be the president or the owner of the sponsoring company who will be funding Flamengo. Go ahead, I want this plane for 3 years here, it's his. For 3 years, it doesn't have to be his. That's the kind of thing people will say. Flamengo lacks its own stadium and plane, but will have a customized plane for 3 years with the option to change it later. The same thing now? Talking about reciprocity with teams from outside means the teams from outside, Rio, Atlético Mineiro, Palmeiras, and others who like to put up that net, see what BAC will say. Besides the improvements he mentioned at the meeting, there are improvements everywhere. It's a lot. Watch the whole thing on Flamengo Television if you have the patience. Now, let's hear his comments on the net issue. Over there in the visitor section.
We're working on it. The presidential box will be at the level of Santiago Bernabeu, which will inaugurate in January. We will make several improvements at Maracanã. We're going to have that net, like in some places where we see that really friendly net they have. We'll be fully reciprocal at Atlético Mineiro's and Palmeiras' stadiums. You greet us with that net, so expect an even worse, tighter net at Maracanã, all right? Whoever treats us well,
he welcomes us, but warns there'll be an even worse one at Maracanã for you. Just listen to him.
Flamengo will be treated well when they come to play here. You're throwing a stone at us, we're throwing a mountain at you. When you come here, that's the level it's going to be.
Whoever threw a stone at a mountain, Flamengo will respond. The reciprocity will go further than simple payback. And here we still have BAP criticizing the clubs. criticizing rival clubs. Look, and then it's the
thing. Staying on top requires attention. What happens when we start winning everything? You start getting cocky, start thinking you're the king of the hill, start thinking you're better than everyone else, that you can do anything.
so
It's the sovereign's illusion. Those trapped in time thinking they're unreachable, it's complacency. Their advice prevents institutional modernization. Because I'm the king, I'll keep things this way. We've already lived through this, and it's not that far in the past. This is a case from less than 20 years ago. Another club balanced its finances by selling athletes. The guy becomes a hostage to the market. There comes a time
he doesn't have an athlete to sell.
when the market is bad. How does he manage his accounts? He goes bankrupt. It's also a major Brazilian club. What risk does that pose for us? Turning the youth academy into just a financial convenience? That can't be. You can't cover your bills or balance accounts just by selling youth academy players. We'll try to sell youth players for a good price, but we can't assume success yet. You can't balance this year's or next year's accounts just by selling a few youth academy players. A governance deficit from unprofessionalism and political crisis. He wins everything, gets the stadium without paying, and a decade later, he's broke.
Bessone, the Corinthians fan, got upset, put the quotes there, wins the stadium, and also talked about Flamengo, which uses the stadium. Come on, government, be serious, right? Bessone, what you said was ridiculous. Wow, Flamengo joined a bid with Fluminense. Flamengo manages itself and invests in Maracanã. Man, don't defend this scam. What you're doing is a shame.
All right, we think it doesn't happen, but it does, and it happens fast. What's the risk for Flamengo? Allowing our internal politics to sabotage professional management? Don't let that happen, because what guarantees this balance we're showing here is professionalism. And then here's the thing, perfect.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to take advantage of. Yeah. To talk about other aspects, the issue of the players that Flamengo should sign and everything else. Look, I thought it was important for us to bring up this statement here. We probably won't buy any player over 26 years old. You buy at 26, 4-year contract. At 30, you can't sell anymore, but you can still sell. If you buy at 29 or 30, he'll stick with you until the end. Yeah. He explains. You buy a player up to age 26 with a 4-year contract. At 30, you can still sell him, but when you buy at 29 or 30, he'll stay with you until the end. In other words, you can't negotiate anymore. This player is here, and he says, here, we don't need to sell. Let's keep the squad and strengthen whatever is necessary. We're going to continue strengthening the squad, but we need to lower the average age of the team. To play 60 or 70 matches a year, we need younger players. We're going to encourage fierce competition in every position. Look, that's why I think Taty Castellanos is coming. Isn't it true that in Flamengo's squad we have 2 players of the same level, one as a starter and one as a substitute? Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to have Flamengo there. Flamengo for sure. It's just Bruno Castagna, our buddy here. Look what he did.
Flamengo is going to become a monster in the Americas. That was the phrase that President Babe brought up just now in the council meeting. When he was presenting the revenue project numbers for 2025 and also the projects for 2026 and 2027, the whole planning for Flamengo is just unbelievable. And he said this phrase, Flamengo is a monster in the Americas, as they say when it comes to revenue. So this is Flamengo, guys, that made 2.1 billion. 2.1 billion was Flamengo's revenue in the year 2025. They're already projecting 1.8 billion and 1.7 billion for the next years.
But this could
increase
if you win
titles. Since Flamengo won both the Libertadores and Brazilian Championship, there won't be a Club World Cup next year. Flamengo won 150 million, and if they win the championships again, 29 will be given from the projected 2.1 billion. And he said he's going to invest in reinforcements. There's money for that, and he said it more and more. Even if he doesn't win, he has enough cushion for that. But he can easily spend more money to sign players, because that will bring the team closer to winning titles. So Flamengo is getting stronger and stronger, guys. Stronger, perfect. Later, we'll bring you details, guys, about this meeting. There's a lot for us to talk about, to discuss.
We'll keep bringing you this planning.
Flamengo's revenue and the rise of the new Flamengo helped reduce its debts to 96 million. But that's it.
From over 300.
Flamengo made over 300 in profit.
From 300 and something million, Flamengo brought it down to 96 million, and next year it will already be 40 million. The debt is over. You manage the debt. You don't have to pay it off right away. You keep managing it. Flamengo is making profit after profit. Just so you know, Flamengo managed to increase Flamengo's profit growth. Flamengo's increase is equal to what São Paulo makes in revenue, which is the fourth largest revenue.
It's Flamengo soaring when it comes to the financial side, to the despair of their rivals. And I'll even mention a detail just about the increase. From 2024 to 2005, Flamengo's revenue was over 700 million. That's what makes it worthwhile.
São Paulo.
From the entire period, 700 and a few million. So you can really see how absurd Flamengo's size is. It's going to become a monster of the Americas. Please like and subscribe. It's important.
He's here. Castellano. Flamengo's coming.
Push hard to sign Taty Castellano. They haven't given up. Flamengo knows they'll have to put some money down between 22 and 25 million euros to sign the player. He wants to play for Flamengo.
What does playing for Flamengo mean? That's from Bruno Castaño.
But positions, Flamengo is looking at several names, right, guys? Flamengo is going to sign a goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper and the defender are already pretty much on their way. So, midfielder Taty Castellano. Amazing. Support them and subscribe to Bruno Castaño. He's the one with all this information about Taty Castellano. He's the one who's been bringing all the latest news about Taty Castellano. He's the main source for this, okay? So important information there. Flamengo is close. This has even come out abroad as well, okay? That the player Taty Castellano might transfer to Flamengo, okay? We even have some posts here from foreign journalists, okay? Look, I'm going to pull up the Ole newspaper here, Ole newspaper. It's saying that the forward from Lazio, the main target of the last Libertadores champion, Flamengo. So far, there have only been inquiries and requests for information, but no actual offer yet. The 27-year-old footballer, who is liked by Felipe Luis, had already been approached by the club previously, etc. But Flamengo is insisting, so Diario Ole is bringing information, okay? And Flamengo, guys, also has some other important information here. Let me see if I can find it. I had set it aside here. Update on Castellanos. In other words, news about Castellanos, Taty Castellanos. So it's information in Italian. But saying that Flamengo might sign Taty Castellanos, Italian journalist. So there is a lot of information indicating that Taty could be signed by Flamengo. We also had BAP saying that Flamengo no longer depends on revenue. Broadcasting rights, television rights were our fifth largest source of income in 2025. That whole reason behind the Libra war, I tell it's going bad, man. It's going bad for the rivals. Their only chance to undermine Flamengo was through the television deal, and it's already the fifth time. BAP said he doesn't need it, but will keep doing it to annoy you all. Oh my God, look at that. Flamengo has overtaken Fluminense to become the top-earning Brazilian club from championship prizes in 2025. Even with Fluminense in the semi-final, there's still that little shelf from Jose Ilan on the scoreboard. Fourth place in the World Cup, Flamengo was runner-up in the Club World Cup, then on penalties almost became world champion. Flamengo has 375.7 million in awards for the year, while Fluminense has 374.2 million because of the Club World Cup semi-final, so you have to put up with it. Flamengo still surpassed you guys. Flamengo is the first Brazilian football club to reach the mark of 2.1 billion in revenue in a single season. President Luiz Eduardo Batista, BAP, confirmed this information. Flamengo in the year 24-25 grew by 761 million, which was Sao Paulo's annual revenue in 24. It's absurd and surreal, just what we were discussing about Flamengo. That's quite a statement from BAP, right? Look at that. They're exciting not just fans on the field, but the whole nation, and promise to get even stronger. Also, reducing the debt from 346 million to 96 million with a possible drop to 41 million in 2026 is impressive. Brazilian soccer will hit a historic 2.1 billion in revenue in 2025 with more growth ahead. It's the monster of the Americas, right? What's with this double, triple, quadruple mouth? That's not right. Is it Tetra? Flamengo made some jabs when talking about the attention they're going to give to try to stay on top. Teams trapped in the past thinking they were unbeatable. He won everything, got a stadium without paying, and 10 years later he's broke. That's what he said. That was a little message for Corinthians. They're set to make 504 million from match day in 2026, but that's just a part of it. Brazilian soccer will continue progressing, with Flamengo remaining a leading force for years. BAP also discussed what happens if Flamengo wins nothing in 2026. The house falls, we make 1.4 billion. Palmeiras' budget, with everything included, is 1.2 billion. So we have the breath and muscle to go much further. As a football club, my best investment is reinvesting in the club. We have an absolutely healthy cash flow, growing results, a margin above 30, and that's if we don't win anything. If we win again, we'll have a 40 margin and more opportunities to invest in the business. Flamengo is going to become a monster of the Americas. What's that phrase? From an economic point of view, a year ago, we were probably the 27th highest revenue in the world. And I believe now we're the 16th. I think we have to aim for the top 10. And if it doesn't work out, we'll still be in the top 15 of the biggest. Zanotto, it's worth it, right? To see, man, I'm really excited about this administration by BAP. What I heard yesterday is that even the people who voted for Lanjim at the meeting were saying that in the next election, they're going to vote for BAP. Yeah, this guy is planting the flag, showing with impressive work, okay? Leo Jose even posted here in the column that BAP talked about the 1 billion issue. Let's listen here.
When I said I could spend 1 billion, what am I really telling everyone? Now it's my turn to spend. I'm going to spend. As the Brazilian League and Libertadores champion with my squad, I'll spend. What did you spend? We can't afford to make mistakes with our signings. But look, we made an investment of 309 million this year, so our investment was much more effective than Palmeiras and Botafogo's.
What a blow, huh?
But if your opponent
every year puts
with this much money in, he'll eventually beat you. There's not much you can do. That's what happened in 23 and 24. 23 with Palmeiras, 24 with Botafogo. So there's a mathematical explanation for this, and we're thinking about it. It doesn't mean we're going to spend 1 billion. It doesn't mean we're going to spend 1 billion, but we have the means to spend it if necessary. If it's to restore this balance of forces,
we're making it clear we'll outspend our rivals to balance things out, not let them. And then he says that you have to get these signings right. It's very important. Flamengo really needs to get the signings right, because if you mess up the signing, you give those guys an opportunity. But man, Flamengo, the most important thing about all this is that we see Flamengo speaking out. The president of Flamengo is saying that if they have to spend, they will spend more. They won't let the other guys spend more than them. And Flamengo is selling more, financially speaking. That's it, man. Khalil already warned about that, right? The day Flamengo gets their act together, well, that's what happened, huh? Yeah. So we had all of that happening. Flamengo then is huge. It was a moment there. There was a moment there in the interview when he called the global reporter, the commentator, Big Nose, who criticizes Flamengo a lot and everything. So there's a controversial moment going on, right? Look, actually, we can see here that Globo is already responding, man. The people from Globo. Look, I'm going to get it here. Let's go. Yeah. GLOBO repudiates the statement made by President Pap. Globo condemns the unprovoked misogynistic attack by the Flamengo official against one of its employees and reaffirms deep respect for women and critical opinions that do not offend or insult anyone. BAPP only explained, I repeat, only explained the issue of investment in women's soccer. Okay? He defended himself. He could have avoided it and all, but he defended himself. All right. Yes. So, right. He also talked about financial fair play. It will take some time. There will be a transition period, but there will be a limit. There are clubs that spend 103% of what they earn on payroll. Some spend 103%. Some choices won't be paid, right? Usually social security, severance fund, etc. So purchases and sales will be supported by long-term planning and everything else. Reduce intermediation. We cap payments at 7. That guy, what he showed was a display of professionalism, a real display of professionalism. Mbappe managed to scare the football world. So here's this statement that I found important. We won't let anyone spend more than Flamengo. During the transfer windows, that's the logo. That's how I saw it. I found it very impactful, even scary. It even intimidates the rivals. Even the Palmeiras influencers are scared. Obviously, there was that. The only criticism I saw was his statement about the commentator. And he also talked about the Felipe Luis issue. Yeah, look, he says here that it doesn't depend on him. We're not going to spend Christmas without a coach, in his mind, in his view. Felipe's contract ends this year, but he'll renew it. Okay, if it depends on me, it will be Felipe Luis, but it's not just up to me. Okay, it's not just up to me. By saying he won't go without a coach, he acknowledges he has one and it will continue, but it's not solely his decision. So that's the information we brought yesterday, that the signing will only happen after Christmas. It's very difficult. It could happen, but it's very difficult. So we have this issue here to share with you. Still about Taty Castellanos, GLOBO Esporte confirmed that Flamengo has reached out to Taty again. So it's a name that really interests Flamengo, Taty Castellanos. Flamengo wants to sign him, and we're going to bring that up now. Just really quickly so we can wrap up, so this video doesn't get too long because it's already pretty long, but there's just a lot for us to talk about. Opina Porco, grandson of Opina Porco. He agreed with BAP's statements. He praised BAP's statements. We look, just let's go.
The colleague over there asked if I saw BAP's statement about SACS in Brazil. He said that by 2029, he thinks Flamengo is the only club in Brazil that won't become Sociedade Anônima do Futebol. And he also made a series of comments about the management of Brazilian clubs, saying it seems like they are intentionally speeding up this move into the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol world. Look, guys, I'm a Palmeiras fan, but I have to admit that BAP is right about this part.
De Sociedade Anônima do Futebol.
It is haunting Brazilian soccer. And why do I say that? Haunting Brazilian soccer because I don't want Palmeiras Sociedade Anônima do Futebol. Do you, who are watching the video, want your club to become Sociedade Anônima do Futebol? Some clubs, I understand being Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, some clubs, they need a Sociedade Anônima do Futebol model to get organized.
They force themselves to become Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, right?
To have more professional management, to be able to gain momentum. Now we have several traditional Brazilian soccer clubs that if they had more organized management wouldn't need to fall into the Sociedade Anônima do Futebol universe. Leila even said that she believes the future of Brazilian soccer is Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, even at Palmeiras. That's what scares me about a third term, even though she says she'll never bring that to Palmeiras. So BAP, he didn't lie, isn't that right?
Leila's friends like it. Leila's friends like Sociedade Anônima do Futebol, huh? Yeah, be careful, be careful. That's really a possibility. So, are you excited? I'm really excited. It's the monster of the Americas. Please follow, like, and share on all platforms. Subscribe below if you're on YouTube. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell and leave a cool like on the video. Greetings, ladies. This is Flamengo, all right?